Welcome to this video. This video is a continuation of the previous video on brachial plexus. If you haven't watched that video, just check it out. So, to just brush up things, I will brief our previous video in which we discussed a case of shoulder dystocia with Erb's palsy. So as you can see in this baby, you can observe that the right arm is in an abnormal position. That is referred to as the waiter's tip. It is also called as the policeman tip. It is because that it looks similar to that of that position when the policeman tries to get a bribe. That is why I refer to as a policeman tip or a waiter's tip. Okay, so let's jump into today's video, which is on the anatomy of brachial plexus. This image is a very good image to understand and memorize brachial plexus. Okay, so when you look at this image, first of all I will label it. So as you know, the brachial plexus consists of a group of nerves starting from C5 to T1. So it can be divided into roots. These are the roots, and this is trunk, this is division, and this is cord, and finally branches. So as you can see, the C5 and C6 join to form the superior trunk, and C7 forms the middle trunk, and C8 and T1 forms the inferior trunk. Each trunk has anterior and posterior division. So the anterior division of C5 and anterior division of C7 join to form the lateral cord, as you can see here, and medial cord is formed by C8 and T1, anterior division of C8 and T1, and in case of posterior cord, it is formed solely by the posterior division of superior, middle and inferior trunk. So it is easy to remember. So these are the general divisions of brachial plexus. So when it comes to the branches, it is not that important to remember every single branch of brachial plexus. The ones which are clinically important should be remembered. So first, as you can see, this is the root. So in the root there are two branches. First one is dorsal scapular nerve. It supplies the rhomboids major and minor, and this is the long thoracic nerve. This one is the long thoracic nerve. It is also called the nerve of Bell, which supplies the serratus anterior. It is also called the boxer's muscle. Okay, so this is regarding the branches of the root. Now next we are going to see about the branches from the superior trunk. So this is the suprascapular nerve, and this is the nerve to subclavius. Okay, these are the two branches from the superior trunk. Then when it comes to the terminal branches, the main terminal branches are as follows. This one is the musculocutaneous nerve. This one is the musculocutaneous nerve, and this one is the median nerve, and this one is the axillary nerve, and this is the radial nerve, and this one is the ulnar nerve. These are the 5 main terminal branches. So when you look at individual branches of the cords, for example, if you take the lateral cord has 3 branches. First one is, as you know, musculocutaneous nerve. Second one is the lateral part of the median nerve. Then third one is lateral pectoral nerve. This is the lateral pectoral nerve. So 3 branches. You can remember it as, for lateral cord, lateral pectoral nerve, lateral branch of median nerve, and musculocutaneous nerve, LLM. Okay. Next, when you look at the branches of the medial cord. So when you look at the branches of the medial cord, as you know, this is the medial part of median nerve, ulnar nerve, and you will have another 2 nerves which start with the M. So this is medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, and this is medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. As you can see, this is more proximal, so it supplies the arm. This is distal, so it supplies the forearm. So these are the four branches of medial cord. And when it comes to posterior cord, it has 5 branches. It can be remembered by the mnemonic ultra. Okay, so what does ultra stands for? Obviously you know this is axillary, this is radial, so RA vent. So this is upper subscapular, this is lower subscapular, and this is thoracodorsal. Okay, that's all. These are the branches and the mnemonic to remember them. So you don't even have to remember each and every nerve. The important ones are enough for remembering. Okay, so as you can see, this diagram can easily help you remember the brachial plexus anatomy. Now how it correlates with our case. So what is our case? Our case is Erb's palsy. So we have this child who had shoulder dystocia, and due to difficult labor he sustained injury to his brachial plexus C5 C6 and he got Erb's palsy. Now as you can see, what is the problem? He has his arm is adducted, his elbow is extended, and his forearm is pronated. So what are the actions which I have told you now? So you will have a doubt, why is this child having this arm in this position, exceptionally in this position? It is because the nerves damaged. For example, when you have seen my previous video, you will know that during delivery, during difficult labor, there will be injury to C5 C6, as I said, in case of Erb's palsy. So when C6 is damaged, it will damage the suprascapular nerve, axillary nerve, musculocutaneous nerve. These are the nerves which are damaged in Erb's palsy. So if suprascapular nerve is damaged, your muscle affected will be supraspinatus muscle. Axillary nerve is damaged, so deltoid muscle will be affected. So you know that these two muscles are the primary abductors of the arm. So when these nerves are affected, there will be no abduction. So that is why the child has adducted arm. And musculocutaneous nerve is affected. Musculocutaneous nerve supplies biceps brachii, brachialis. So these two muscles are responsible for flexion of the elbow and supination. So these two are affected, therefore the child is having extension of elbow and pronation. So also the lateral rotators of the arm are affected, therefore the arm is medially rotated. Therefore this leads to the typical position called as waiter's dip. So once you learn the anatomy, and once you know what are the branches and what are the muscles it supply and what is its action, you can you don't have to mug up anything. You can just know why this child is having this defect. So to complete brachial plexus, we have two more palsies to see. This one is Klumpke's palsy. So as you can see in this video, Klumpke's palsy is due to an injury which occurs when someone is falling from a very much height and he got hold of a tree or something like this. He injures his lower brachial plexus. In case of Erb's palsy, it was upper brachial plexus. Here it is lower brachial plexus. It is also known as hyperabduction injury because the arm is hyperabducted. So in case of lower brachial plexus injury, the most important nerve affected is ulnar nerve, and median nerve is also affected for a bit. So ulnar nerve affected, so it causes claw hand. That's all. Then the last palsy is crutch palsy or Saturday night palsy. So crutch palsy is nothing but persons who are handicapped, who are using axillary crutch for a long time. Also alcohol binge drinkers who tend to fall asleep with their hands in this abnormal position. They tend to put a big pressure on the axilla, so that the posterior cord will be affected. As you already know from this diagram, that the posterior cord supplies the axillary nerve and also the radial nerve. So due to long prolonged usure of crutch or Saturday night palsy, what happens is that this radial nerve is compressed and it causes neuropraxia, and it affects the, what is the radial nerve's important function? It is extension, so it causes wrist drop. Wrist drop, as you can see here, there will be wrist drop. Since it is a neuropraxia, it will be recovered in a week or so. So that's all about brachial plexus anatomy and its clinical correlation. I hope this video would have helped you learn anatomy a bit more easier and interesting. Share and subscribe this channel, and please comment what are the videos you would like to watch from me. I would love to do any video related to medicine. Thank you.